Welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Derek Simonds is with us. He is Executive VP Automotive at Numa and a great friend of the industry, the retail automotive industry. Derek, welcome back to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Thanks, Ted. You know how much I enjoy being on the show with you, and it's always a classy experience. And every time I see you, I'm humbled by the fact that I'm sitting here in a hat with our logo and a black shirt, and you are dressed in a suit and a tie, man. When I get to the next pop-up event out in December, I'm gonna have to wear a suit. That's all there is to it. I cannot show up and just be slacking like this. I got to up my game for you.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that, my friend.
Done.
So congratulations, first of all, on all the news with Numa. Great news. You are really taking the industry by storm. You've got hundreds and hundreds of dealers now using the platform, and
Yeah.
I'm excited today because we're gonna kind of dive into what's happening in our industry and what's happening with AI around us, and we're going to learn a little bit more.
Yeah, I think that's a great segue. And if you haven't seen the news, being a true Silicon Valley tech company, we did what's called a Series B fundraise, and we got $32 million investment that came in. We announced it back in October, and it's huge. And the reason that we did it was because we are convinced that we are heading in a direction that's going to help re-architect the way that AI is used in dealerships. And if you look at what's going on with dealerships, the ability to use AI today is where it's going to start saving money and producing more profitability for dealerships. And there is a path to AI utilization that I think is available to any dealership. And I think anybody can apply that. And then as you start using AI and you see the benefits, then it's time to bring in a partner that is incorporating that AI into what you're doing across multifaceted areas of the dealership. So that's really a big thing for us. So we doubled our development staff in January. We doubled it again in June, and we will double it again by the end of the year. And if you think hiring technicians is hard, you try hiring AI and machine learning engineers in Silicon Valley away from Open AI and Google and Meta and all of those alphabet soup companies that are out there that are scooping up all of the AI engineers. So it's pretty crazy right now.
Well, Derek, Numa knows the landscape, and you also know the compliance side, which is a big part you talked to us about just a couple months ago on the show. So I'm excited to learn more because a lot of folks, we're talking about AI. Some folks are fearful of it, but it's in our lives right now. And I know you're going to show us how that's happening with a couple common scenarios that
Yeah.
could be happening right now as we're at the dealership.
Yeah. So I think that word of caution, right? And then let's talk about how we can use AI at minimal to no cost today to start using it in your shop. Word of caution: please do not ever put any personally identifiable information into a generative AI product, because anything that you type into ChatGPT or Llama or Gemini becomes property of that software. So at a dealership level, we cannot afford to be sharing customer information into one of these generative AI platforms. And that's kind of a concern with some of the bolt-ons that people are doing with AI. You have to be extremely careful with what your vendor's bringing to you, and they must have a security plan in place so that they do not ever share your data into an AI, because at that point in time, AI owns it. So that's the word of caution. I'm not a doomsayer. I'm not a negative Nelly. It's just one of those things that I think dealers have to be aware of so they don't get in a pickle. Now, all that said, man.
I
Uh,
didn't, I didn't know any of that. So thank you for kind of
oh
framing
yeah,
this information. That's great.
yeah. So there's kind of an apocalyptic story of a Korean engineer that worked for Samsung, and he was having a problem with the core programming code that goes on their chip. And so he uploaded the entirety of the code into ChatGPT to get it to help him debug it. When he did that, he literally gave access to their top secret information that now ChatGPT can use in its conversation with anyone. Now, I will tell you kind of a nightmare scenario. We were doing testing with ChatGPT back early this year, where we were running through different scenarios and testing it. We were getting bleed through from other vendors having put in customer information into the system. So we were actually seeing other people's name and phone number and addresses that ChatGPT was returning. So just be aware, it's happening. People are doing it. And so make sure your staff understands you can type and ask ChatGPT very specific questions. Just don't ever do it about a customer. So when you get the information, you can then merge it with the customer information, and that's how you need to go about it.
All right. Well, let's do it now with a generic situation. No names
Yeah,
have been involved to protect the innocent. Let's
right on.
understand you're ready to go live right on the internet. And
Let Nothing could go wrong with that, Ted. Nothing could go wrong with going live on the internet. Let's do it.
obviously
Let's do
not.
it.
All right.
Let's do
So,
it.
how about a common scenario that's happening maybe right now at the dealership, a vehicle that came in
Okay.
earlier today, in any of the 50 states, anywhere in North America, came in for an oil change, maybe a tire rotation, has got between 35 and 40,000 miles. Technicians pull the car in to the bay and come back to the service advisor and told them, you know what, customer needs a couple things right now. Among them,
Right.
you set up 4 tires that are in the red or about to be red. And how about the brakes? That's common for a customer to hear from a service advisor. How does AI enter into all this?
Well, I'm glad that you asked. So I'm going to show you how to craft what is called a prompt
Okay.
using ChatGPT so that it can help you get ready for that call if you're a service advisor. How's that? You want to do that? Let's do it
Real
live.
world. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So one of the things I'm going to start typing on my screen. If you want to share the screen, and then they'll be able to see me. And look, I'm not a speed typist, people, so just bear with me as I'm typing this. One of the things that
You're a
you
car
want
guy.
to,
Okay.
I'm doing it with my fingers, not just one finger. Okay,
All
so
right.
but it's still
So
slow.
Derek is online, and we're going to feed this information live. Okay.
Yep,
Into chat. Are we on Chat GPT?
Chat GPT. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Can
So,
they see the screen, or you want to go ahead and share
all
that?
right. Can I bring it up? Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Here we go. Oh,
So
look at this customer.
so I am. So when you're writing a prompt, the first thing that you have to do. Oh, I'm on the wrong one here. Can you? That's a customer tire approval. So can
Yeah,
you?
we have tires. We need tires and brakes.
Yeah. So you're a service advisor at a service shop. You're about to call a customer to get approval of new tires. What are some likely hesitations and rebuttals to them you should review before calling the customer? Okay. So the first thing that we did is we established who you have to pretend to be, right? Then we told them what we're going to do, right? I'm going to call them to get the approval. And then I ask it to help me understand how I need to handle this, right? So that's the 3 things that we have to do with the prompt. Tell it who we are, tell it to help us, and then ask it what we're going to do and then how to help us. And so here's what my friend ChatGPT said. The price
Derek,
seems too high.
you pulled this up in like 15 seconds.
Yeah, it's literally that fast. The price seems too high. I completely understand, but safety and performance are key factors. These prices are based on their quality and longevity. They provide better traction, longer wear, and could even improve your fuel efficiency over time. Cheaper tires may wear out faster, costing you more in the long run. Ted, I don't know. That's pretty freaking good, right?
That's really good.
And so here's one of the things that I have always believed working with service advisors and salespeople. If you know what the potential objection is before you discuss anything with the customer, you are better prepared to handle it. You're not caught off guard. Here, price seems too high. Can it wait till later? Can I shop around first? I don't drive that much, so do I really need them? Can I just repair the old tires? If I go into this just knowing that those are 5 potential things that the customer might say, I'm already ahead of the game because I'm not caught flat-footed, right? And so you legitimately can just go in and have it work through stuff like that. I wasn't
So
planning.
this
to
is
film
online right
yesterday.
now. Any
Right now,
customer, anybody watching today can pull this up as a response to the advisor on the tires.
yeah. So
Wow.
if you've got a new Google phone, you can just do the exact same thing with Gemini right on the bottom of the screen. You can type right in the Gemini bar, and it'll do the exact same thing as this. It'll be a little bit different because obviously their large language models are different, but it's that fast. Now, can I change tabs up here, or do you have to change tabs on your side? Because I also have an example for a timing belt that we did.
I'm going to take this down for a moment, and then you change the tabs, and then
Okay.
you should be able to bring it up
All
as you
right.
do that.
Perfect. So let's just do this, and we'll look at the.
And everybody, we're down and dirty. We're doing this live.
Yeah, this is live.
No prep, okay. And I don't know what he's going to bring up, but
timing belt. I want to do a timing belt.
Hopefully, it's clean. So,
all right. So it's ready for you to share now.
Okay.
So is this the? Yeah. So here, you're a service advisor at an automotive shop. A customer needs a timing belt replacement. How do I explain to someone who doesn't know much about vehicles what this is and why it needs to be done? You can literally take that prompt and use it for any repair that you are having to explain to a non-technical person. So the timing belt is one of the most important parts of your engine. Think of it like the conductor of an orchestra. Its job is to keep everything running in sync inside your engine. There are parts like the crankshaft and the camshaft that need to move at the exact right time. The timing belt keeps them moving in harmony so your engine can run smoothly. Like, I don't know, man. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's really good.
So I'm going to show one other thing that I think is relevant to service managers today. So I think we need to do that stop share thing again, right? So I'll stop sharing, and I'll.
So ChatGPT already knows this information. It's already in there. So
Yeah.
we have to load the questions. Again, don't put any names of any customers.
Yep.
And it'll populate the answer.
Yep.
You ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it. So you're a service manager, and you're thinking about your team and how they handle communication, right? So the prompt, describe who you are, right? You're a service manager in an automotive dealership. What you need to do, create A to F grading score for your teams about how well they handle customer interactions. So what are we looking for from our teams? Now, you tell me, if you think about this in the terms of your employees, how relevant is this? Responsiveness. How quick can they respond? Professionalism.
Extreme.
Problem resolution. Product knowledge. Customer follow-up. Personalization. Satisfaction scores. So what's a grading scale look like? Well, exceptional. There's the criteria. Good. There's the criteria. Satisfactory, needs improvement, failing. And what are the implementation steps? Well, you got to collect your data. You got to score each category. You have to provide feedback to your team members, and you have to set improvement goals. Like, this is legitimately, how do I manage my team in any specific event? And you can use ChatGPT to do this. And it's so simple. You can play with it. If you don't like what you get as a response, tweak what you ask it. Tweak what you ask it a little bit, and it'll go ahead and give you a totally different response.
You and I didn't go into this with any of these preconceived notions or questions. You brought them up, and boom, here's the answers.
Yeah,
online, live right now.
This is, like I said, what could go wrong going live on the internet? This is literally unscripted. This is just us throwing these prompts in and asking ChatGPT to provide us some information. So I enjoy playing with this because I see the direction that this can go and how it can help dealerships. That, you know, I'm a firm believer in training, Ted. Like, I believe that we should be training our service advisors with the best sales skills that we possibly can, because guess what? They have a harder job selling stuff than anybody else in the store.
Yes.
When I come to a service drive, I'm not there because I'm excited about the opportunity to get a new car. I'm there because my check engine light's on and the car's missing.
Right.
And I'm not happy about it because I know what's about to happen. And so when I look at this, I want my team prepared. And so how do we get them prepared? If I was a service manager, I'd pick one of these a week. I'd pick that timing belt. I'd go through that. And then I'd use that as a quick service training. Like, there's your
training in the huddle. There it is.
Yes. You could literally take whatever your top 10 op codes are on a monthly basis and rotate them through on a weekly basis with ChatGPT, giving you some ideas on how you could talk about it.
Or we could go around to the advisors and what's a common objection you just heard in the last day? Okay. Boom.
Yeah.
Bring it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Price is too high. Great. Well, here's a couple of ways that you can respond to that. Yeah, and I'm a firm believer that everything starts with agreement, right? And so whenever a customer is negative in a pitch from an advisor, I believe we have to acknowledge that that's going to happen, and we have to be prepared for it. I think that the hey, man, that's crazy. That price is really expensive. I understand how you feel, Ted. Like I get it, man. If I was on the other side of the phone and I heard that, I'd feel the same way, right? We're acknowledging, we're showing empathy. Too often, we are just absolutely just crushing in our day. We've got 5 more phone calls to make. We've got 7 cars that are taken apart in bays. I got to get approvals for, right? We need to have these advisors that are just feeling bulletproof about who they are and how good they are at their job and being empathetic for the customer. Because again, they didn't come into the service drive because they were excited to be there, man. They're there because their car needs something. And I can tell you this, having worked with all these different OEMs over the last
Yes.
30 years, the
Yes.
number one complaint on CSI for the service department is communication, right? And where does communication start? It starts the minute that people come into the drive. If you're not empathetic, if you're not engaging, and then you're not following up like you're supposed to with the customer, you have failed, right? You can actually have a good repair and bad communication, and you will get absolutely trashed on your survey. We see all the time doing audits with the manufacturers that they have a bad repair where they couldn't fix it the way that the customer wanted, but they had great communication. They still got a good survey. So we know the power in communication. And we know that if your advisors are trained and are at that next level, I mean, they're going to get there. They're going to get there. And so that was just a free way that you could start using generative AI today to help you as a manager getting some things in front of your advisors on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that can help them improve at their job and their skill set. So that's pretty simple. That's a pretty simple way to go.
So this is all part of what Numa brings to the table, because you mentioned making the advisor bulletproof. You
Yeah.
help them on the communication side, becoming bulletproof with the technology that you've got, Derek, which I'm hearing so much about now from dealers, that Numa's got it. Only Numa's got it. Okay. And that's part of what makes your platform so special.
Thank you. And it is. And what's interesting is that we look at communication as a team sport. If you think about this in service time, how many people touch a customer from before they make an appointment to the time they walk out after having paid for their service? How many people are involved in that? At a small dealership, maybe 9. At some of the luxury stores that I've actually modeled this with, it's 11 to 13.
Yeah.
Because you've got receptionists, you've got BDC agents, you've got a greeter, you've got an advisor, you've got a technician, you've got a shop foreman, you've got a QC guy, right? You might have
The wash
a
bay.
porter, you have a wash bay, you have a receptionist, right? So that's 10 that I just named. That and that's common. So all those people touch this customer in this transaction around the simple act of getting their car serviced. And that's why we look at this and say we have to focus on communication as a team sport. It's not just the advisor, it's not just the BDC, it's the entirety of this circle. Everybody needs to know what's going on. And one of the ways that we're helping facilitate that at Numa is that inside of the platform where the customer communication lives, the text messages and the calls and the web chats and the Google My Business and the Facebook Messenger, inside of that platform, we actually have the interdepartmental communication through our own type of Slack or Teams or WhatsApp chat groups that allow the parts department to talk to the service advisor and the technician at the same time in the context of a conversation around a repair order, and it all stays in the same place. And so it really drives efficiencies in that communication that's making a big impact. Now, one of the things that we've been talking about in the past, and I've heard other guests talk about this, is status updates. This is a huge issue. Like, I really truly believe that this is a crisis in our industry at this moment in time. If we're looking at service advisors that are writing 17, 18, 20 ROs a day, and we have an expectation that they're going to touch a customer 2 to 3 times a day with status updates, that's 60 phone calls if we touch them 3 times a day. That also is going to include text messages. That's also going to include other activities.
Okay.
And at some point, it gets a little overwhelming to the advisor. And that's why we see that red light blinking on the voicemail with a customer that's upset, that's saying, hey, you didn't call me and tell me what's going on with my car. Right. And so I just had an experience. I am not going to name the name of the dealership because I dropped off my vehicle. It was a very large repair, and I did not get an update for 7 days. 7 days. 7 days. And I just left it to see what was going to happen. They called me, told me it was going to be ready to go. So I went in and picked it up. And would you believe, Ted, that when I left, that the two things that I brought it in for were still visible on the dash as far as problems. And so I turned right back around and went in, and they're like, no, I swear we fixed it. Here's all the stuff. We just forgot to reset the dash, and we forgot to do the things that we were supposed to do. And I'm like, guys, I literally, who QC'd the vehicle before it went? But anyway, back to status. We have to track this, okay? So with a platform like ours, we're going to track it automatically for you. We're going to do that. But here's what you can do right now. You take your receptionist, and when a customer calls in for an advisor and says, hey, I need to talk to Ted, your receptionist just says this: great, are you calling to get a status update on your vehicle? If the customer says yes, they put a check mark in calling for status update. If they say no, they put a check mark in the no. Okay, we have dealerships that are tracking through Numa, right, the status update. And they've actually gone as far as to say, we are going to pay a different commission percentage based upon how many customers call in for a status update.
Wow.
So if you have, less than 3 people that call in for a status update, you get paid a higher commission. If you have more than 3 people, you get paid the lower commission. Now, I'm not advocating penalizing somebody. I want it to be a bonus for doing the right thing, right? We get results by paying people for the job that we want them to do. Do I want communication? Pay somebody for it, right? And it's not just a $250 bonus at the end of the month if I got a good CSI score. It's actually taking into consideration the elements that drive this. And so you can get a communication tool like what we do, and that's going to actually handle that for you. Or you can have your receptionist check it right now. And I challenge dealers that think they don't have an issue with that to actually have your advisors, or you're not advisors, your receptionists start checking this on your advisors. Do it for a week. Let's see what happens, right? Because and again, this is a crisis.
It's real world. Yeah.
We see this, and that's the number one driver of defection right now is communication. It's
all right,
the number
everybody.
one driver.
Numa is the platform that drives communication at your dealership, helps your managers, helps your advisors. I think the term bulletproof was used earlier. Numa brings that to the table.
Yeah.
By the way, everybody, in 26 Fixed Ops Roundtables, do you know how many times the speaker opposite me has asked me to go live on the internet? Only one right here. Okay. He's the only one who's dared to do that. And you can see what happened today. So Numa works. It's powerful. Derek is the executive vice president automotive at Numa. Reach out to him, reach out to numa.com. Derek Simonds, on behalf of the roundtable, thank you for all you're doing for retail. And I look forward to seeing you soon in person.
Yeah, very soon. Yeah,
at our next event, and I'm going to hold you to that suit. So I've seen photos. You look good in a suit. So
you're going to see me in a suit. Do not. I will be there. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. All right.
Numa.com. Everybody, reach out to the team there. Derek Simonds, on behalf of the roundtable. Thank you again for all you do.
Yeah, and happy Thanksgiving, Ted.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, Derek, and your family.
All right. Talk to everybody soon.